The chamber of the Galactic Council was shaped like a massive dome, its walls glowing faintly with pulsing blue light. Delegates from over 50 star systems sat in their assigned rings, circling the center like orbiting moons. In the heart of the chamber stood the Earth delegation, tall, proud, tense. Commander Alara Miles stood behind Earth's prime representative, watching as he argued with Chancellor Vorik, the Council's supreme leader. Vorik's long, silver robe shimmered like liquid metal under the chamber lights. His voice was calm but cold, filled with warning rather than anger. Earth has expanded into 3 protected systems, Vorik said, his alien eyes steady. Despite clear council orders to halt colonization, your mining fleets entered sovereign zones. Over 24 treaties have been broken. Earth's representative, Marshal Rain, slammed his fist onto the glowing podium. We did what we had to do. Our people are starving. Our planet is choking under its own weight. You sit in luxury while Earth suffers. Murmurs rippled across the chamber. Delegates whispered in their own languages, translated instantly into the ears of others through tiny implants. Alara could hear them. Aggression. Pride. Earth has no respect. Dangerous species. She felt heat rise in her chest but kept her face calm. She wasn't here to argue. She was here to listen, to learn, to keep the fragile link between Earth and the stars from breaking. Vorik did not raise his voice. You were warned. Warnings were ignored. This council has rules to keep peace across galaxies. Humanity is not above them. Marshal Rain turned to leave. Then maybe we don't need this council. Gasps echoed around the chamber. He walked away without another word. The other Earth delegates followed him, heads high, jaws tight. Alara stood frozen for a moment. Her orders were to leave with them. But something inside her said no. She looked up at the glowing spire above them, the symbol of interstellar unity. She couldn't walk away from it. Not yet. She turned back, just in time to see Vorik watching her. You remain, Commander Miles? He asked. His tone was unreadable. Alara stepped forward. Her voice was steady. I do. I believe we can still talk. There must be a path forward. The chamber fell silent. A few delegates stared at her with interest. Others shook their heads. Vorik gave a slow nod. Then speak carefully, for your voice may be Earth's last. Later, alone in a quiet hall outside the council chamber, Alara watched her world spin on the hollow map above. Earth glowed blue, but she knew the truth behind that light. Oceans rising, crops failing, cities overcrowded and angry. She pulled up her communicator and sent a message to Earth's High Command. She didn't expect a response. The message was short. We've walked away from the table. But the galaxy hasn't stopped watching. If we don't return soon, there won't be a table left. No reply came. She looked back toward the council doors. War was closer now. And she was alone. The lights on Arsenax station dimmed in slow cycles to simulate night, though sleep was rare for Alara Miles. She sat alone in her quarters, eyes fixed on a large window that showed the stars beyond. Somewhere among them was Earth, distant, blue, and silent. Alara hadn't heard back from High Command. She'd sent 3 messages since the walkout. All were ignored. The official statement from Earth had already spread through the galaxy. The Galactic Council no longer represents the best interests of humankind. We withdraw effective immediately. The words stung. She tapped a small console on the desk and brought up live feeds from Earth. The images were chaotic. Crowds filled the streets of major cities, protesting everything from food shortages to government corruption. The sky over New York was thick with smog. Power outages rolled across Europe. Ocean storms battered coastal defenses in Asia. Her home, her people, were crumbling under pressure, and instead of reaching out for help, Earth had chosen isolation. Alara closed the feed. She didn't want to watch her world fall apart. Instead, she opened her personal journal. A habit from her academy days. Day 198 on Arsenax. Earth has turned away. I stayed behind. I don't regret it. But I feel the weight of it, like I'm carrying a whole planet on my shoulders. Maybe that's pride. Or maybe it's duty. I don't know anymore. She paused, stared at the words for a long time, then closed the journal. A soft chime rang out. Someone was at her door. It slid open with a quiet hiss. A small, round figure floated inside. It was a translator drone, golden and humming lightly. Following it was Council Liaison Kira, a tall, feathered being from the planet Zari. Her large eyes blinked slowly, full of sadness. Alara Miles, Kira said in a gentle tone. Chancellor Vorik has submitted a proposal. A military strike against Earth's orbital systems. The vote will take place in 3 days. Alara felt the air leave her lungs. They're actually moving forward with it, she whispered. Kira nodded. You are Earth's only voice here now. The council listens, but they do not trust easily. Alara stood, gripping the edge of the table. Earth isn't perfect, but we don't deserve war. There has to be another way. The Chancellor believes that if Earth is left unchecked, it will bring chaos to the stars. Alara clenched her jaw. So they'll make an example of us. Kira tilted her head. He believes it is mercy. Better destruction from above than civil collapse from within. Alara couldn't sleep that night. She lay on her cot, eyes wide open, mind racing. She thought of her mother, who still lived in a small coastal town in old New England. Her mother had believed in the council. She had told Alara, if we ever face the stars, do it with honesty, not fear. Now, those same stars might rain fire down on Earth. The next morning, Alara made a decision. She wasn't going to sit and wait for a vote that would doom her planet. If Earth wouldn't return to the table, she would bring the table to them. She packed her uniform, a small translator module, and the encrypted data she had stored on council behavior and Earth's defense codes. Her goal was simple: speak to the silent. If Earth wouldn't answer her calls, maybe someone else would. She left her quarters and walked down the long corridor toward the diplomatic transport dock. No security stopped her. She was still technically a council-recognized envoy. At the airlock, she paused. One last glance out the window. Earth still glowed, small and distant. But the weight she carried no longer felt like something pressing her down. Now it felt like a reason to keep going. The council tower rose high above Arsenac Station like a crystal blade pointed at the stars. Inside, the mood had changed. What once echoed with long debates and peaceful diplomacy now buzzed with quiet tension and the whispers of war. Alara moved through the corridors unnoticed. Without the Earth delegation, she was no longer required to attend public sessions. Most assumed she had left with her people. That assumption gave her time she desperately needed. She entered a quiet chamber near the upper levels. A place she had visited only once before, during her early training. The Hall of Directives. Rows of glowing memory banks lined the walls. These contained centuries of council decisions, private communications, and internal proposals. Most were locked behind strict access codes. But Alara had clearance from her ambassador days, and she still had a few tricks left. She moved quickly, typing her credentials into the interface. A blue light swept over her face, then blinked green. Access granted. She searched the archives using one word: Earth. Hundreds of documents lit up the screen. But one file caught her attention. It was marked urgent and private. Only 5 counselors had access. Its title made her breath catch. Operation Silence. Strategic Containment of Earth Origin Instability. Alara opened the file and scanned its contents. Her heart pounded. It wasn't just a simple orbital strike. The Council had been planning this for months, since before the walkout. Vorik had gathered support from multiple systems, presenting Earth as a growing threat. If Earth refused to comply, the plan was to launch a precision attack on Earth's orbital defense grid, disable satellite systems, and cut off communication with the rest of the galaxy. In effect, Earth would be blind, deaf, and alone. And once isolated, the Council would let the planet collapse under its own pressure. They called it a non-lethal solution. But Alara knew what it really was: abandonment with a quiet hand of violence. She downloaded the file onto a secure drive and shut the console down. Her time was running out. On her way out, she nearly collided with someone, an alien taller than her, covered in green-scaled armor. Tovar? She asked, stepping back. Tovar, a former trade envoy from the Zenthri species, narrowed his eyes. You shouldn't be here, Alara. I could say the same, she said calmly. I was asked to ensure no one accessed restricted files, he replied, scanning her. But I assume it's already too late. Alara didn't answer. Tovar sighed and leaned closer. I don't agree with everything Vorik is doing. But he has support, more than you think. Do they all want war? Not war. Control, Tovar said. Earth scares them. You grow fast, ignore warnings, and fight amongst yourselves. They think a soft war now is better than a hard war later. Alara stared at him. So you'll just let it happen? No. I'll give you this warning. He looked around, voice low. In 2 days, the vote passes. Once it does, there is no stopping the strike. If you want to change anything, you better move now. She nodded. Thank you. He stepped aside, letting her pass. As she walked away, she heard him call out softly, Be careful, Alara. They'll come after anyone who tries to stop this. Back in her quarters, she reviewed the data again. Every part of her wanted to believe there was still a chance to turn things around. She sat down and recorded a message. Not for Earth this time, but for someone else. This is Commander Alara Miles, acting envoy of Earth. I have uncovered classified files showing that a preemptive strike against my planet has already been approved for execution. This is not peace. This is punishment. If any systems still believe in justice and truth, I ask for your help. This is no longer just about Earth. It's about what the Council is becoming. She encrypted the message and sent it to trusted contacts, former allies, neutral systems, old mentors. Then she stood in silence, watching the stars beyond her window. In those stars, ships were preparing, and time was running out. Alara's ship, a small diplomatic vessel named Vigil, sped through the void of space. It wasn't built for combat, only travel and words. That suited her just fine. Right now, she didn't need weapons, she needed allies. Her first stop was the Varney system, home to the peaceful Amari people. They were respected for their neutrality, rarely taking sides in council disputes. Alara had worked with their delegates during peacekeeping talks years ago. If anyone could be reasoned with, it was them. She landed on Varney's prime under heavy mist and silver skies. The council's actions hadn't reached here yet. Life moved quietly among floating cities and glowing rivers. High Elder Runa met her in a great hall of glass and stone. She was tall, with skin that shimmered like water and a voice like wind through leaves. Alara Miles, Runa said kindly. It has been some time. Why are you here? I need help, Alara said without hesitation. The Council is planning a silent attack on Earth. They call it containment, but it's destruction. Please, stand with me. Speak out against it. Runa's face turned grave. We have heard whispers, but nothing official. Are you certain? Alara handed her the drive. These are Council documents. I stole them. They're real. Runa studied the files for a long time, her face unreadable. We will not fight, Runa said at last. But we will speak. I will call a meeting of the neutral systems. Perhaps others will listen. Alara nodded, grateful. Thank you. That's all I ask. From Varney's, she traveled to the Renari cluster. These worlds were smaller, their people less powerful in council politics, but strong in numbers. Some had left the council years ago, tired of its rules. Alara knew they still remembered Earth as a fellow outcast. In the capital of Renari Prime, she met with old contacts, traders, engineers, ex-diplomats. Some welcomed her. Others didn't. We've already seen what Earth does when it's desperate, one Renari elder said. You steal resources. You break rules. Why should we risk ourselves for you now? Alara didn't argue. Instead, she told them the truth. My planet is falling apart. I won't defend everything we've done, but we don't deserve to be destroyed in silence. If the Council can erase us today, who will they erase tomorrow? That silenced the room. One voice broke the silence. A deep, confident voice Alara hadn't heard in years. Alara Miles. Still stubborn. She turned to see Kessa Thorne, a former rival. Half human, half Delvani, Kessa had once been a fierce critic of Earth. They had debated each other many times in council halls. And though they had disagreed, Alara had always respected her. Kessa, Alara said. I didn't think you'd be here. I left the council after they let my world die, Kessa said simply. Now I help where I can. Why are you really here? Alara didn't pretend. I'm here because Earth is about to be cut off and crushed. And I can't stop it alone. Kessa studied her. You stayed behind when the rest left. That means something. It means I believe in something bigger than my planet, Alara said. I believe in the galaxy we promised to build together. Kessa nodded slowly. You have one chance. Speak to the Assembly of Free Systems. I'll get you in. But no promises. They don't trust the Council or Earth. I understand, Alara said. 2 days later, in a hall deep beneath the rocky surface of Renari Prime, Alara stood before the Assembly. Dozens of representatives from neutral and former Council worlds filled the chamber. She spoke clearly, from the heart. She showed them the stolen files. She told them of Voruk's secret vote, of Earth's silence, of her loneliness in a galaxy turning its back. This isn't just about my home, she said. It's about how we handle fear. The Council is afraid of what they can't control. But fear should not rule us. We can build something better. There was no applause. Only quiet nods and long stares. That night, Kessa approached her in the quiet of her quarters. Some of them are convinced, she said. Not all, but enough. We'll back you. Alara exhaled deeply, relief washing over her. Thank you. Kessa looked her in the eye. You still have to return to Arsenox. If this is going to work, you need to face the Council before they vote. Alara nodded. I'll be there. She boarded Vigil once more. This time, she wasn't alone. Behind her, a small fleet of neutral vessels followed. They carried no weapons, only truth, voices, and presence. That was all she had. It would have to be enough. The sky above Arsenok's station shimmered with the glow of arriving ships. They came slowly, without weapons or threats, yet their presence sent shockwaves through the halls of the Galactic Council. Neutral worlds, former allies, old critics of the system, all arriving together, all standing behind one human voice. Commander Alara Miles walked alone through the massive entrance of the council hall. Her black uniform, marked only by the symbol of Earth, stood out among the silken robes and glittering armor of the galaxy's leaders. She carried no weapon, no rank, no power, only truth. Inside the chamber, delegates had already gathered. Tension hung in the air like smoke before a storm. Vorik stood at the central podium, calm and confident. The vote to authorize Operation Silence was only minutes away. Alara Miles, Vorik said, addressing her without warmth. You return with no official role, no delegation, and no planet willing to speak. What brings you here now? Alara stepped into the circle, her voice steady. I'm here because someone has to tell the truth, she said. Not the political version. Not the prepared statements. The real truth. The chamber stirred with quiet murmurs. Some leaned in. Others looked away. You all know Earth is difficult, Alara continued. We grow fast. We make mistakes. We've broken rules. But the answer to chaos isn't silence. It's not erasing a planet from the galactic stage and pretending it never existed. That's not justice. That's fear pretending to be order. Vorik raised a hand. Emotion has no place here. This council must act to protect the galaxy. Then protect it with honesty, Alara snapped. You've already prepared the attack. You've planned Earth's isolation. Not to keep peace, but to prove you're still in control. She pulled out the data drive and placed it on the central console. A holodisplay opened, showing the file she had stolen. The plans, the dates, the communications. Every secret step leading to Operation Silence. Delegates gasped. Some stood. Others whispered fiercely to one another. This isn't a debate, Vorik said, his voice tight. You are not authorized to present this. Alara ignored him. I may not speak for my government anymore, but I speak as a citizen of Earth and as a member of this galaxy. If we punish every species that stumbles, we build a council of fear, not unity. One of the delegates from the Almari stood. She's right. The council was built on cooperation, not punishment. A Renari representative followed. And we cannot support a hidden vote without open dialogue. Vorik's eyes narrowed. This chamber cannot be ruled by sentiment. If you wish to defend Earth, then prove its worth. Let us decide by tradition. A heavy silence fell. The tradition Vorik referred to as ancient, a logic duel. A formal debate in front of the council, where two sides argue their case. No weapons. No votes. Just words. And whoever won, shaped the outcome. I accept, Alara said without hesitation. The chamber shifted, lights dimming. The central floor retracted slightly, forming a ring around Alara and Vorik. A tradition older than many species now began. Vorik stepped forward. Earth is unstable. It ignores rules. Its leaders walked away from this council and left chaos in their place. They walked away out of pride and fear, Alara answered. I stay because I believe in something better. I believe Earth can learn, but only if we're given the chance. Chance after chance has been given, Vorik countered. And each time, your kind pushes further, faster, beyond what is safe. Because we are desperate, Alara said firmly. Because our world is failing, and no one hears our cries unless we shout. Then perhaps you are not ready for the stars. Alara looked around the chamber. Her voice softened. Maybe we aren't. Not yet. But you don't help someone grow by turning your back on them. You help by staying, by guiding, by believing that change is possible. Silence followed. Then, slowly, one by one, delegates began to rise. First the Almari, then the Renari, then several others. Even some council loyalists stood, uncertain, but moved. The chamber master stepped forward. The challenge is concluded. By majority response, Commander Alara Miles has made her case. Vorik's face did not change, but his hands tightened at his sides. The vote for Operation Silence is withdrawn, the master said. Earth will not be attacked. A deep breath escaped Alara's chest. She had done it. The path to peace was open, narrow, fragile, but real. Vorik approached her quietly. You've delayed the inevitable, but your world is still on the edge. She met his eyes. Then help us pull back from it. Or step aside for those who will. He did not answer. Later, As the chamber emptied, Kessa joined her, arms crossed. "You always did talk too much," she said. "It worked," Alara replied. Kessa smiled faintly. For now. Together, they stood beneath the great dome, stars shining above them. Alara stood alone on the wide steps outside the council hall. The great doors behind her had closed. The chambers were quiet now. No more shouting. No more votes. The decision had been made. Earth would not be attacked. But it didn't feel like victory. The ships from the neutral systems were already leaving orbit, returning to their distant homes. They had stood beside her in the council, but none had promised to stay. Their message had been clear. Earth was on its own now, no longer trusted, no longer welcome. A soft hum pulled her from her thoughts. Kira, the council liaison, approached with calm steps. Her feathery cloak flowed gently with each movement. Her eyes were soft, but tired. "You spoke well," Kira said. "You did what no Earth representative has ever done. You made them listen." "Barely," Alara replied. "And only for a moment." "Moments can change history," Kira said. They walked together along the high balcony overlooking the station's central hub. Down below, hundreds of species moved through the great halls, traders, travelers, diplomats, and workers. For all the high-level decisions made above, life continued as usual down there. Quiet. Ordinary. Alara looked at them and felt the weight return to her chest. "I stopped the attack," she said. "But Earth hasn't changed. Our leaders are still stubborn. Our systems are still failing. What did I really save?" "You saved the chance to try again," Kira said. "And that is more than most ever get." They stopped near a large, curved window. Beyond it, Earth hung in the distance, a small blue sphere wrapped in thin clouds and orbiting debris. It looked peaceful. But Alara knew what was happening on the ground: division, shortages, fear. She opened her wrist console and composed a new message. "To the leaders of Earth. I have prevented an attack. For now. But we are not safe. The galaxy is watching. And so am I. If we do not return to diplomacy, to cooperation, we will lose more than our place in the stars. We will lose ourselves." Alara Miles. "Envoy to the council until you decide otherwise." She sent it, knowing it might never be answered. But she had to try. A tone rang from her console again, moments later. This time, it was from the council. The message was brief, effective immediately. "Commander Alara Miles is appointed peace envoy, operating independently of Earth's government. She will act as a liaison between Earth and the council under neutral authority." Alara stared at it in silence. She had no real power. No army. No support from home. Just her voice, her title, and the hope that someone would listen. Kessa appeared beside her, arms crossed as usual. "You've made yourself a target," she said. "Earth won't like that you speak for them without permission." "I'm not speaking for them," Alara replied. "I'm speaking to them." Kessa nodded, her expression unreadable. "So, what now?" "I return to Earth," Alara said. "Not to join the government. Not to follow orders. I'll go to the people. The ones who still want peace. The ones who still believe we belong out here." Kira looked at her with quiet approval. "Then go. But be careful. There are many who will not forgive you for stopping this war." "I'm used to being alone," Alara said with a small smile. "But I'm not afraid." She boarded the Vigil once more, this time with a new destination home. As the ship lifted off from Arsenox and drifted into open space, she looked back at the station one last time. It had been her battlefield, her courtroom, and her proving ground. Now it was time to return to the world she had fought so hard to protect. Inside the ship, she recorded one final message, a broadcast meant for Earth's public networks. "People of Earth. The stars are watching us. I stood before them and spoke of hope. Now I return to you with a promise. We still have a place among the stars if we choose to earn it. Let's not abandon that chance. Not again." The message ended. The stars outside began to shift as the ship changed course. For the first time in weeks, Alara let herself breathe deeply. The path ahead would be long and full of resistance. But she had bought time. And with time, there was hope. The Vigil entered Earth's orbit under gray skies and static-filled channels. Communications were still broken across many regions. Some satellites drifted lifeless, casualties of decades of neglect. The blue planet looked tired, like an old soldier who had fought too long without rest. Alara watched it from the ship's command deck, her hands clasped behind her back. She had dreamed of returning in triumph. Instead, she returned in silence. No welcome. No cheers. Just a world too weary to notice her coming home. She piloted the ship manually down through scattered clouds, landing at a forgotten diplomatic station on the outskirts of what had once been Geneva. The city was half submerged now, ringed by flood walls and solar panels that barely worked. The landing platform was cracked and overgrown, but she had chosen this place for a reason. This was once where humanity met the stars. The old Earth embassy to the Galactic Council still stood nearby, a low, round structure with faded flags and broken lights. It had been abandoned since Earth withdrew. Now, Alara would reopen it, not for politics, but for the people. Inside, the air was dry and musty. Dust coated every surface. She walked the halls slowly, touching walls that had once echoed with foreign voices. Here, representatives of dozens of species had once stood in dialogue. She activated the main terminal. Power sputtered, then held. A low hum filled the room. Lights blinked on, one by one. Alara sat at the central desk and connected her personal transmitter. She recorded a message, not for the Council this time, and not for Earth's leaders. This one was for its people. This is Alara Miles. I return not as a representative of a broken government, but as one voice among many who still believes we belong out there. The Galactic Council chose not to destroy us, but they will not protect us either. That job is ours now. We must rebuild trust, not just with the stars, but with each other. This station is open. Anyone seeking peace, unity, or purpose, you are welcome here. We start again. Together. She sent the message across all open frequencies, radio, satellite, deep space links. She didn't expect much at first. Most networks were barely functioning. Some still ran on backup power. But within hours, something happened. A group of engineers from the old European Alliance arrived. Then a journalist from North Africa. Then a scientist from Brazil who had been studying interstellar energy transmission in secret. One by one, people came. Quiet, curious, careful. They didn't come with flags or speeches. They came with ideas. They helped her repair the station's systems. They cleared the surrounding area. They installed fresh solar panels and even restarted the old broadcast tower. Soon, her message reached further, across continents, through orbit, and out into space. Then came the messages in return. From the colonies on Mars. From survivors in the underwater cities. Even from distant outposts once thought abandoned. And finally, from a place Alara never expected, Earth's High Command. It was not an apology. It was not support. It was a single line. We will not stop you. That was enough. Weeks passed. The station grew into something new. Not a seat of government, but a place of gathering. A place of planning. A place of rebuilding. Alara no longer stood alone. And above them, the stars watched still, but not in judgment this time. In quiet curiosity. One evening, as the sun set over the half-drowned city, Alara stood on the station's roof and looked up. The stars shone clearly. No warships. No threats. Just the vast quiet of space. Kessa's voice came through the communicator. You did it, she said. No, Alara replied. We're just beginning. Still, Kessa said, her voice warm for once. You were right. One voice can matter. Alara smiled. Only if it speaks when it matters most. Below her, people were talking. Sharing food. Repairing drones. Drawing up plans for Earth's first neutral embassy, run not by power, but by purpose. The future was uncertain. But this time, humanity would walk into it with open eyes. And maybe, just maybe, hand in hand with the stars.